Welcome to the Dreamlands. We are back with some more Homeworld Remastered multiplayer. Once again with a 2 versus 2. This map, I can't off the top of my head remember what it was called. I've never personally played on it again. It's part of the Ace Maps pack. I thought it was Crimson Bond, but the background is definitely the Tannis Shipyards. Anyway, so we are going to be checking out a 2 versus 2, like I said. Let's get our bearings here on the map. So this is going to be red team is on the south spawn and yellow team on the north spawn. So spawning south on the yellow team. First up, we are going to have, oh god, I don't even know how to pronounce this player's name. It is going to be Taiidan. I hope I pronounced that right. And if I didn't, please let me know in the comments. This is a player that I am not familiar with at all. I've never seen them before. So should be pretty interesting to see what sort of play they bring to the game. They are going to be spawning in as the Taiidan. Their ally also as the Taiidan. Shockingly, it is going to be once again Fear, a player that should need no introduction at this point. Very, very skilled player, one that you have seen appear multiple times on the channel. And at this point, I should say that Fear also does some really interesting Homeworld Remastered stuff on YouTube. He does kind of like strategic analysis of his own plays from the first person's perspective and kind of gives a high level overview of his decision making and plays. So I will leave the link to that in the video description. And if you guys are interested in competitive Homeworld Remastered, you should go check him out and give him some love. Their opponents spawning on the north side, yellow team first up. It is going to be, with my horrible camera control, we are going to have Power Man playing as the Hiigarans. This is another player that I am not familiar with whatsoever, so they will be making their debut on the channel. Should be pretty interesting to see what they've got in store. Oh, look at this. And his ally, once again, appearing on the channel, it is going to be Xenofix, another pretty high-level player that you've seen on the channel multiple times, playing also as the Hiigarans. This is pretty interesting. So Hiigaran versus Taiidan. Homeworld 2 versus Homeworld 1. Let's take a look at the map and see what's going on. This map is gigantic. Holy smokes. And we've got a ring of gas clouds around the outside of the map. Is this radiation? This red stuff? It looks like it might be. If that's a mistake, let me know in the comments, please. But I remember from the campaign, these red clouds were radiation. So if your ships go inside them, they take damage over time. That's what it looks like to me. So a couple of those and a couple of dust clouds. Where's the RUs? Some RUs from north and south moving into mid. Is there a large pocket of RUs in mid? There's 2 large pockets in mid, as well as a couple moving out east and west of the spawn locations. Looks like Xenofix has saturated his main. He's long hauling resources from his third, and he has saturated his second with his carrier out there. Power Man as well saturated his main, moved his carrier out and saturated his second, and it looks like he has got pulsar gunships already on the field. Good grief. So a early tech build for him. Taiidan's saturated his main. He has a resource controller moving out presumably to his third with some collectors on the way, and his carrier has moved out to his second and has saturated that. Fear. What is Fear doing? He has saturated his main. He has moved his carrier out to his third and has saturated that, and does have a resource controller at his second and has saturated that as well. He's got his research ship on the field, and it looks like he has teched 2 corvettes with a couple of repair corvettes and a couple of light corvettes already on the field. So some pretty early corvette tech from Fear and from Power Man. And as this game gets underway, we do have a little bit of skirmishing, some interceptors on the field for Taiidan. I wanted to mention also that Xenofix also does some Homeworld Remastered stuff on YouTube. He does some first-person perspective gameplay, and as a fairly skilled player, there are a number of things you could learn from him. So again, if you're interested in the competitive side of Homeworld Remastered, I will leave the link to his channel in the video description. Go check him out.
Probe detected.
Gunships on the field now, as well as some scouts for Xenofix. Probes launched across the map as both teams just keep tabs on what the other team is doing. And no skirmishes yet in the game. Man, this map is gorgeous, though. That is one big, big wreck. Alright, so we have scouts from Fear backing up his light corvettes and repair corvettes. We have pulsar gunships as well as gunships for Powerman, and some scouts and gunships from Xenofix. What's going on here? A couple of scouts gonna pick off 1 or 2 scouts from Xenofix as we have the first skirmish of the game. Very, very minor stuff. I assume that Powerman and Taiidan are both pretty skilled players since they're playing with Fear and Xenofix. What is coming out of Xenofix carrier? We have, or his mothership. We do have a second carrier on the field now. That's pretty interesting. So a double carrier opener from Xenofix. He is still mining off of 3 resource locations, as is Fear. By the looks of it, Taiidan and Powerman both on 2. Oh god, look at all these interceptors from Taiidan. Massive swarm of interceptors coming out. Gonna swing wide across the east side of the map while Fear's corvettes go for a push directly through mid. This is going to be spotted, however. There are a number of scouts skirmishing with each other through the center of the map. Xenofix bringing his gunships up to support those and drive the scouts off. Did they spot this play? They may have indeed, because Fear is swinging wide and he is going around the east side of the map as well. Is he going to do a double push with Taiidan? Try and focus down Xenofix. 1 lone scout from Fear going to grab a bunch of information. That's going to tell him exactly what state the tech and economy of both players on the yellow team is. So really nice scouting there. And a huge push by red team. Looks like it's coming out through the central and eastern side of the map. A mass of interceptors and attack bombers from Taiidan, as well as just a giant number of light corvettes backed up by a couple of repair corvettes if he brought those forward. Even mixing in a few scouts. So pretty sure this has been spotted. Pulsar gunships moving to protect the flank from Powerman. And yeah, definitely this has been spotted. Xenofix is moving his gunships out into a position where they can defend against this. Pulsar gunships now being added into the mix, which is the right choice, given the Corvette tech. Oh, this has to be radiation. Look at that. Oh god. I think Taiidan just lost all of his ships by moving into the radiation cloud, though. Interesting. So that oh, poor guy. I don't think he knew that, and he just moved his entire starting blob into the radiation cloud, and they just got decimated. And now Fear looks like he wants to pull back as the pulsar gunships and gunships of Xenofix move forward. This is not a fight that Fear wants to take with only light corvettes. So a little bit of a mishap at the start of the game from Taiidan. And that's actually going to save Xenofix a huge headache, actually. I actually kind of feel bad for him. That was pretty damn bad. What have we got on this side? Just a little poke, more light corvettes from Fear. And they are going to get spotted by these scouts from Xenofix. Well, it looks like we are gearing up for a huge macro game here. Second carrier hits the field for Powerman. So double carriers for both of the Hiigaran players. Do we have frigates on the field? We do indeed. Assault frigates coming out from Fear. A number of them spread out across the map. Research ship from Taiidan was very far away. Kind of in the bottom corner of the map there, so we hid it away. We do have a little bit of skirmishing going on up here. What is this? Probably just scouts. A couple of light corvettes moving up to ward off the scouts of Xenofix as he tries to do a little poke. Maybe some scouting, a little bit of harassment, but they are going to get bullied off by some light corvettes. Taiidan looks like he is mining off of 3 resource locations as well now. So catching up in terms of economy. What does he have on the field? Assault frigates. So on the back of that fighter and attack bomber push, which regrettably went into a radiation field and got decimated, he has teched directly to some assault frigates. And it looks like we are gearing up for a big macro game, ladies and gentlemen. I'm actually surprised to see that there hasn't been a single big engagement yet in this game. Still mass pulsar gunships from Powerman, and enormous amounts of gunships and pulsars from Xenofix as well. Looks like we have a little bit of a poke coming through mid from Fear. A couple of light corvettes as well as some assault frigates. We're going to do a little bit of damage here, get those assault frigates popping shots off on Xenofix corvettes. He is going to go for the retreat. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Powerman going for a big push. All of his pulsar gunships going to fly directly across the east side of the map, right through the dust clouds. And he is going to pursue all of these light corvettes from Fear. Try and box him in perhaps so that he has nowhere to go because of that radiation behind him, and pick off all of these units. All of these pulsar gunships could definitely take that fight very decisively. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Xenofix looks like he is going to take the fight. He does have a torpedo frigate on the field now, so that was a nice call, spotting those assault frigates and getting some Hiigaran torpedo frigates on the map. Meanwhile, Fear, oh god, with another spam of light corvettes, going to get right on top of Powerman's refinery as well as his salvagers and clean up an entire resource location before anything can be done about it. And it looks like Xenofix is going to divert all of his forces away from these two frigates and try and clean this up. Massive gunships, pulsar gunships, going to try and get these light corvettes, but the damage has been done. This entire resource location cleaned up. Beautiful play by Fear, using this group to bait Powerman out of position while this group came from the top and destroyed that entire resource location in seconds. Powerman bringing back all of his troops, or all of his forces now. All of those pulsar gunships, they are finally going to get on top of these light corvettes, but those light corvettes are just going to ignore everything and make a mad dash for Powerman's main. Oh, beautiful play by Fear. That was immaculately done. Meanwhile, on the other side, we do have a big frigate push. I got to keep my eyes peeled on this. Assault frigates from Fear, backed up by assault frigates from Towerenians. Pardon me, Towerenians. I'm pronouncing that effectively. And while both players on yellow team are across the map picking up these light corvettes, these frigates are just going to push directly onto Xenofix main. Oh, the damage has been pretty brutal with this one push. Beautiful timing by red team. A number of collectors look to get cleaned up here once this torpedo frigate is taken care of. It will take a little while for these assault frigates to clean this up, but they will do it. And again, Fear just baiting with these corvettes. Look at that play. That is really nice. So Xenofix and Powerman are going to have to split their forces if they want to deal with this blob of corvettes as well as that blob of corvettes. The main threat right now, though, is all of these frigates pushing onto Xenofix main. What is this? We do have a destroyer on the field. Very nice. So the old Hiigaran destroyer hits the field pretty early. Not a strict destroyer rush, but pretty darn fast, if you ask me. What's going on over here? Do we have any harassment going on? We don't, just a number of scouts. Keeping tabs on what's happening on the red side of the map. We get a quick look at Sensors Manager here. So again, with the light corvette push through the back door from Fear, Xenofix is all the way on the other side of the map with all of those gunships, pulsar gunships, going to try and clean that up. Meanwhile, the pulsar gunships of Powerman are still pursuing these light corvettes, but they are going to run into something they do not want to see, a missile destroyer from Fear. Nothing that can stop this frigate push yet, though. Torpedo frigates coming onto the field one by one. They are getting picked off as they come onto the field, but they are doing a ton of damage to these assault frigates, and now that the destroyer is in position, it is going to finally clean this up. However, Powerman does not want to push down here because those light corvettes have met up with some serious backup in the form of a heavy missile destroyer. Bad news for those gunships. What have we got here? Assault frigates still on the field, finally getting cleaned up. Looks like those light corvettes off to the west side of the map are finally getting cleaned up, but a ton of economic damage has been dealt by that play by Fear. Really, really beautiful bait and switch play. Ion cannon frigates now from Fear backing up the push. They're going to start focusing down this carrier of Powerman, which is out on Xenofix's side of the map in mid. This thing is in a ton of trouble. Light corvettes, a missile destroyer, and a couple of ion cannon frigates all going to start focusing it down. We do have a ton of torpedo frigates, though, from Powerman pushing through mid to support this. He's going to pull back his carrier. It is going to survive. His destroyer is going to come into the fray as well. Some nice repair, support frigate action even. Pairing up these wounded assault frigates from Fear. I like how he's pushing, bringing back the damaged units to these frontline repair units. He's got 2 support frigates on the front line. That is very, very cool. Meanwhile, look at this push from Taiidan. Holy Christ, so many heavy corvettes, multi-gun corvettes, backing up those ion cannon frigates from Fear, and it looks like Red Team wants to close the deal. They are pushing pretty damn hard. There's another destroyer on the field, so 1 missile destroyer, 1 destroyer, and more assault frigates and ion cannon frigates reinforcing from across the map. Big push coming through mid from all of those corvettes. Taiidan's back in this game in a big way. That is not how you pronounce his name. Tyranians. I do apologize for that. Very bizarre name. Don't even know if I'm saying it properly, but that's besides the point. What do we have? A second destroyer on the field for Powerman. The first destroyer on the front line. The second about to hit the front lines. And a massive torpedo frigates. Good grief. Look at all these things. That is a ton of firepower. Yellow team is not up yet. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we have a big counterattack from all of those pulsar gunships. They forced off and cleaned up all of those light corvettes. More salvagers coming out onto the field to try and reestablish that economy. Meanwhile, the big engagement in the center still going strong. We have ion cannon frigates from Powerman, as well as torpedo frigates and ion cannon frigates from Xenofix, backing up a couple of destroyers, which are both on the front lines right now, doing enormous amounts of damage. The Hiigaran destroyer is a fearsome unit indeed. Are those pulsar gunships going to come back around, or are they hunting a missile destroyer on the other side of the map? They could take that missile destroyer, you know. We do have a couple of ion cannon frigates from Powerman being diverted to try and take down this destroyer. These pulsar gunships need to get in on the fight because this is a ridiculous amount of firepower. They could have probably easily picked off that missile destroyer, but what they should do is hit this destroyer or come around for a big flank on this middle force, because it looks like the tide is starting to slowly turn in Yellow Team's favor. Now that these couple of destroyers are on the front line, they can tank damage, and if fire is not put onto them, they will just consistently do DPS onto the enemy units. Let's get a little bit of a big overview here, see what's happening on the map. A couple of attack bombers from Fear going to try and put some damage out onto this frigate line. Fear coming back around with this destroyer, going to try and get a flank out. Meanwhile, a couple of pulsar gunships move in for some skirmishing on the back lines of Red Team's battle line here. Tons of ion cannon frigates from both players on Red Team. A heavy cruiser, good grief. Oh man. So the big boy is on the field now. Heavy cruiser from Fear hits the field, and this thing is going to cause a massive problem. Oh man, this is exactly what I wanted to see. There are so many capital ships. We've got 1 missile destroyer, 1 destroyer, and a heavy cruiser from Fear. A second destroyer, a second missile destroyer from Fear as well. Holy Christ. And by the looks of it, a third missile destroyer. Oh, one of the capital ships goes down. Both of the Yellow Team's destroyers are still on the field. We do have some attack bombers getting in behind yellow team. Well, these heavy corvettes just push right through the center. Powerman looking to fall back a little bit. Red team pushing back pretty damn hard. Can yellow team stem the tide? Look at the damage coming out from these ion cannon frigates, now focusing down this destroyer. First destroyer went down. It looks like the second one is about to go. No, the first destroyer did not go down. Nice micro, pulled back just outside of range of those ion cannon frigates. This first destroyer, though, is probably going to go down. It's dangerously close. Ion cannon frigates from Fear pushing in relentlessly, starting to fire now on one of the carriers from Powerman. Forced into retreat. Both destroyers from Powerman still alive somehow. We do have a destroyer on the field for Xenofix. More and more ion cannon frigates. What happened to those pulsar gunships? What are they doing? They needed to be in this main engagement big time. Now, I do apologize if I missed some important play that was going on with these pulsar gunships in the back here. I don't know what they were doing. Perhaps they were trying to clean up frigates as they spawned, prevent any reinforcements. And we do have a huge minefield too. That's pretty crazy. Minefield protecting the back lines of red team as they push forward into center. This heavy cruiser still in the middle of everything, just doing so much damage, backed up as it is by all of these ion cannon frigates. Oof. That one destroyer goes down. Was that a destroyer? Don't prove me wrong for a second time. I think it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the first destroyer. The second one needs to get into the fight here. However, I don't know if anything they can do to stem the tide here. Look at that minefield. That is absolutely nuts. That's pretty much going to shut down entirely any kind of strike craft or corvette push that tries to get behind enemy lines and clean up any of their resourcing, allowing red team to just resource unopposed and pump all. Look at all of these ships coming out through mid. Finally, these pulsar gunships start getting on top of some of these units, but at this point in the game, there is just too many units on the field for red team. This heavy cruiser just spearheading the push. Both of these destroyers now. Xenofix loses his destroyer. Oh, a second destroyer from Xenofix as well. So one popped from Xenofix and one popped from Powerman. And now they only have one destroyer apiece, and there really isn't much that they can do at this point. Looks like once again, Fear's team is going to just power through the opposition. Another destroyer hits the field for Xenofix. He does not want to give up. He definitely needs a ton more ion cannon frigates, though. That destroyer goes down, so reduced still to one destroyer. This one is about to get absolutely swarmed. Now that it's pretty much the closing moments of the game, we can just appreciate the rest of this epic battle in full cinematic glory. This destroyer just taking missiles and ion cannon beams from every direction. This thing is toast. Boom. Down it goes. And the push continues. Make sure we're not missing anything important. This game is definitely over. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Was that a cloak? Can Hiigaran motherships cloak? I swear I just saw that thing appear out of thin air. Maybe that was a cloak coming out from Xenofix just to buy some time. However, this game is definitely over. Look at this amount of firepower, just ridiculous amounts of firepower. Cleaning up what's left of Xenofix's forces. At any rate, closing comments, if you guys enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you enjoy the content on my channel, hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you think in the comments. Give me your feedback and suggestions for the future. And then again, if you like this Homeworld Remastered stuff, go check out Xenofix, go check out Fear. I will link them in the video description. Look at all these missile destroyers, holy smokes. Oh, we have a shipyard in the field now for Power Man. Maybe try a Desperation Battle Cruiser. Is that Power Man? I think it is. Yes, it is. But again, look at this. Like, Taiidan fleet prevails. Getting revenge. It's the Hiigarans. Was that a cloak? I swear to God, that's a cloak. So the Hiigaran mothership can cloak. Does he have a... No, he's just got a carrier left. Everything else has been cleaned up. Let's make sure we're not missing anything. Oh yeah. There it is. Interesting. So that's what cloak looks like. Very, very cool. So I imagine that the player on my team, if they cloak, I can still see them, but they look faded. Whereas players on the opposing side will just disappear altogether. Gotta see that last explosion.
Unidentified probe detected. Unidentified probe detected.
Oh, another destroyer from Power Man gets picked off as it hits the field. There it goes. So Xenofix mothership goes down. Power Man not giving up. But congratulations to Red Team for the victory. Some extremely nice plays coming out of them. Well played to Yellow Team as well. What could have changed the outcome of this game? I don't know. Like, I'm not by any means an expert at this game. I'm still learning it myself. So I feel like one big thing though was those pulsar gunships from Power Man should have been in that main engagement. I feel like I might have missed something, like there may have been some reason they were all the way on the other side of the map trying to get something done, but I feel like they were off over here doing nothing for way, way, way too long. And that was a ton of pulsar gunships, which is a huge amount of firepower. And I feel like it could have done a lot more good in the middle of the map, because that many pulsar gunships can put out some pretty scary DPS. And a big blob like that, focusing down frigates, even putting out some damage support onto the destroyers could have been a pretty big deal in my opinion. So there's the GG coming out from Xenofix. This shipyard is going to go down. Followed very shortly thereafter by Power Man's mothership itself. Players in this game, I find, don't really scuttle. They just don't like give up. It's just a thing that I've noticed in this game, and keeping with the spirit of that, I don't finish my videos until these ships go boom. So we are just going to watch the last of it here. At any rate, I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you for the next video.